Greetings everyone, we're TEAM22 and today we'll be presenting genetically modified food, the way it affects us both individually and from a collective standpoint, and how we can harness this technology to further enhance our quality of life.
To start with, let's talk about genetically modified food. What is it? Genetically modified food are derived from various organisms of which their DNA compositions have been modified and manipulated artificially to reach a desired outcome using various technologies. The most commonly known crops are soy and corn. The field is frequently referred to as modern biotechnology or genetic engineering. The majority of GM foods that are currently on the market originated from plants. However, in the future, GM foods made from animals and microbes will also become increasingly more prevalent on the market as well.
Now, what is GM? GM is a technology that involves inserting DNA into the genome of an organism. In order to produce a GM plant, new DNA is transferred into plant cells, which is followed by the cells then being grown in tissue cultures where they develop into plants. As a result, seeds produced by these plants will then inherit the new DNA compositions.
There are many advantages involved in GM food. Let's explore some together. To start with, it offers a powerful and new method to improve crop productivity, both through making conventional breeding faster and more efficient. A study from 2017 has evidently shown that global agricultural yield increased significantly by 6 to 25% over the last 20 years. It is also inclusive to their ability to survive in harsh and unfavorable environments, such as land with high saline concentrations. In addition, GM crops can possess a stronger resistance to pests, and which as a result removes the necessity of pesticide applications. It also improved the overall health and well-being of farmers, as well as lowering the overall cost required to harvest and manage the crops being produced. According to the World Bank statistics, the inflation-adjusted price of rice and wheat fell by a staggering 30 to 40% between 1970 and 1997. Furthermore, genetically modified crops can assist in reducing agricultural greenhouse gas emissions. Studies have shown that a broader application of already existing GM crops in Europe could result in reducing greenhouse gas emissions equivalent to 7.5% of the total agricultural greenhouse gas emissions of Europe. Last but not least, transgenic method can be used to improve the micronutrient content in the GM crops, including the minerals and vitamins contained in grains, and also increases bioavailability of the more frequently consumed foods in developing countries.
Despite having numerous advantages, GM food also has its shortcomings. In transgenesis, antibiotic resistance is used as a marker and has been debated on whether this can lead to the development of antibiotic-resistant pathogens. In addition to concerns about allergenicity, many critics claim that GM crops often provide proteins that are not native to the original plant, which may result in new allergic reactions, in particular individuals post-exposure. If the genetic materials that are transferred from GM foods to cells of the human body creates a negative impact, it would become a major health concern. GM crops may also potentially induce mutations in humans. The World Health Organization has discouraged genetic engineers from acquiring DNA from allergens unless they can prove that the gene itself does not cause the issue itself or potentially more serious outcomes for the individual consuming it. GM crops have also increased concerns about their influences on the natural landscape, the significance of genetic flow, the impacts it has on non-target organisms, the progression of pest resistance, and the impacts on biodiversity.
Is it safe to eat GM food? The safety consuming GM food is the responsibility of FSANZ. The Australia-New Zealand Food Standard Code requires all GM food or ingredients that are be sold in Australia to undergo a mandatory pre-market safety assessment to ensure that they are safe for human consumption. FSANZ compares the GM food with a similar and more frequently consumed non-GM food from a molecular, toxicological, nutritional, and compositional point of view. If genetic modification cause an adverse reaction in the food, such as increasing its allergenicity or toxicity, it will not be approved. The safety assessment protocol used by FSANZ for GM food is based on internationally recognized principles for assessing the safety of whole foods.
The development of the GM food technology, despite being present for a few decades, it has still proven itself to be fresh in the making and constantly evolving. Through further promotion and development of GM foods, it proves to be crucial due to the constantly expanding global population and limited resources available, showing that GM technology is necessary and vital for human consumption and hence our survival. So yes, we absolutely should have GM food. Although there are plentiful positive aspects in GM food, the potential negative impacts GM food can bring should always spark concern, so that more people will be accepting of GM food and will be more well-equipped and ready to deal with any adverse events that it may bring. A consumer's attitude varies nowadays. Factors may include the ethical and moral considerations, uncertainties and concerns in regards to the potential unintended effects of GM food. Trust in the regulatory system are also vital determinants of consumer acceptance. Regaining public confidence in regulatory institutions, as well as promoting the products supplied with associated regulatory frameworks upon them by institutions is very necessary and will be very effective in the long run. This is the reference, please.